Let me show you my best budget bushcraft blades. That's kind of hard to say. Coming right up. Hey everybody, and thanks for coming back for another video. This is Dave, and I'm glad you're with me today. I'm out here in the shop, got the heater going. A little chilly this morning, but it's feeling pretty nice in here. This episode here, I want to talk about cheap budget bushcraft knives that you can make yourself, purchase, all that. Yeah, so some of these knives you may have seen before, some of them you haven't. Yeah, I've been busy doing a little bit of leather work, and start off with this guy right here, this old made in Germany hatchet. I made a leather mask for it, and real cheap and easy. Yeah, a real easy, just knocked it out, no stitching involved, just a piece of leather and some rivets and a snap. Makes a nice little protector cover for my little hatchet. I don't plan on carrying this on a belt or anything, so just to save time, I just made a mask for it rather than a sheath that I could carry it with. Recently I bought that big box of 129 knives for $40. Well, it averages out to about 31 cents each. So out of the box, I got 6 of these for 31 cents each is what it worked out to. So right here, bushcraft blade. Here's a Russell blank. What do they call this? The fishing and hunting knife or something like that. The Russell Green River pattern. Well, they use these. They tamed the West with these. They're not much thicker or about the same thickness as a lot of kitchen knives you're going to find, like this butcher knife. And in the Old West, a lot of them took knives like this with them. And, you know, skinned buffalo and all kinds of stuff with a knife like this. So, here's a leather sheath I made for that. Pretty stiff in there. This was that knife that I reprofiled and cleaned up. That was in that box. And then here's the leather sheath I made for it. And kind of a different style sheath. I did wet mold it, but I riveted it and then I hand stitched around here where your belt loop would go through. I thought it came out pretty nice, considering I never made one this style before. I'm no professional leather worker by any means. I just put something together that's usable and looks halfway decent, or that's what I attempt to do anyway. But a little bit of a disappointment right here. Maybe somebody out there can help me with this. I bought these copper rivets, and I don't like how shiny they are. I really wanted to force a patina on these copper rivets. Now, when I bought these on Amazon, and they said they're red copper, which is pure copper. And cutting them and everything like that, it seemed like it was pure copper. But when I tried to force a patina on these to make them look aged, get a little green and stuff, I grabbed this little lantern I made a long time ago, and just to show you what I'm talking about. So I made this out of let me get this out of there. I made this out of just copper electrical wire. Yeah, so I just made this out of copper 10 gauge electrical wire, and the way I got it to look, it was all shiny, just like these rivets are, just like these copper rivets. This wire was really shiny, and all I did was I took salt and vinegar. I mixed some salt with vinegar, white vinegar, and soaked a paper towel, and I laid it over this, and about an hour later it looked like that. But when I tried it on these rivets here, it didn't even touch them. I took one rivet and I put it in my Easy Rust Remover and let it soak overnight, thinking maybe that would do something, that citric acid would do something to it. And it looked exactly like I put it in there when I took it out the next morning. So I don't know, maybe somebody out there can help me with that. if you know a source for copper rivets that I can force a patina on, I'd love to find some, because that's the only disappointment I have with this one here is, you know, that I couldn't make these those rivets look old. I got another knife here. I'm going to show you that I just knocked out this morning. But before I get to that one, let me show you a couple more. Here's a butcher pattern stainless steel blade butcher knife that I picked up a while ago. It's a Jacobs, and I made this pewter bolster on it. That was I think my second attempt or first attempt at pewter casting, and it came out okay. And but I love that pattern of blade and everything, and so I didn't make this sheath for it, but it fits in there fairly nice. This leather sheath I had laying around that I made years ago, and yeah, so there you go. Find an old butcher knife. It can be stainless steel, whatever, and you've got a bushcraft knife you can do all kinds of stuff with. Here's another one. This is an old Flint stainless vanadium USA, it says on it. Pretty cool butcher blade, stainless steel. This is Echo, actually. I looked it up. Yeah, if you find a knife that has that Flint stamping on it there, that was a marking that Echo company used. So the only issue with one like this is the handle. It's a really skinny handle, not really very comfortable. You gotta, you know, it's not a very comfortable handle anyway. Fine for kitchen work, but if you're out there trying to make feather sticks or anything else with this, your hand, you got to grip it so tight because the handle's so small. So that prompted me this morning when I came out here. I grabbed another one like this. So this morning I grabbed another one like this that I had. And here's a picture of it before I started this morning. And yeah, you can see it's very similar like this with a skinny handle. And what prompted this, and here it is now. That's the same knife. I didn't spend any time on this, so it's not the prettiest. I could have spent more time sanding it and all that. But I wanted to knock it out real quick just to show you you can make a bigger handle pretty easily for a skinny handled knife, you know. Like this is how it started right here, and this is how it turned out. And how I did it is real simple. I had a comment, I think it was yesterday, from one of y'all, and a fella has a Ed Wusthof knife, and it's like a, I guess a half tang or a full tang, but the tang does not go all the way through. It's the handle's slotted, and so that's what I did here. Basically, I filled it. You could use plastic spacer material, you know, micarta, anything. This was just a scrap of teak wood that I had laying around, and I just cut a thin strip and sanded it to the right thickness to use as a filler in here. Like I knocked it out really quick, so I didn't get it perfect right here or anything like that. You go back and fill that with some epoxy if you want it or whatever, but it is what it is. But yeah, just to show you real quick, that's how you could make your handle wider, so it's a lot more, you know, this blade's a lot more comfortable to use right now with a larger size handle like that, you know. And so this makes a real quick, easy, cheap bushcraft blade right here, you know. Okay, so I showed you that one. We talked about that already. Let me get those out of the way so I don't get confused here. Here's another one I put together with two kitchen knives. And the reason I did it is in that box, that big box of kitchen knives, was this little guy right here. And it's a Chupa company. And I believe this is probably from the 50s. And I had another one I bought years ago, and it's a butcher pattern, and it's also the Chupa company. But both of these knives have the cast aluminum handles. This one, years ago, I just wrapped some nylon cord around it that I dyed green first to give the handle, to make the handle a little bit bigger. So that would be another way to, let's see, this one right here, make that, you know, you could just wrap paracord or whatever you wanted around the handle, and then you'd have that paracord, you know, and that'd be a quick and easy way to make the handle more comfortable and bigger. But yeah, so this one here, I just used some green dyed sisal, and I half hitched it around on the handle. So underneath this green dyed sisal line that I wrapped half hitched around the handle, I used electrical splicing tape, which is just like electrical tape, but it's a lot thicker. It's like a rubber. And I just made some wraps around that more towards the middle to give the handle a little bit of a palm swell there, to make it a little bit more comfortable to use. And you know, it's a small knife, and it's just, you know, it has a very small handle, but now by doing that, you're able to grip it a little bit better. And you could fillet small fish with this. It's like a nice little bird and trout knife right here, actually. And it's a kitchen knife, but it would make a great little bird and trout knife, you know. And then this sheath I just knocked together with rivets there again. I just made it where it holds both blades. You know, you slip the smaller one in this way, and then the larger one, and then the larger one you slip in this way. Like that, and a belt loop. And there you have it. Little Bushcraft blade setup deal. Alrighty. Here's another little one that I made. I didn't make the knife, I just made a leather little slip for it. I guess I'm not going to call it a sheath because it doesn't have a belt loop on it or anything. It's just a little slip. Now the leather is glued together, but then I punched holes and put a little sail twine around here just to reinforce it in case the glue was ever to break down or anything. But this is another little knife I picked up a while ago, and it's a Craftsman. You see that there? Yeah, this is a Craftsman stainless steel little knife that I have no idea. I've never seen one like this before. But doing a little bit of research, I think W.R. Case & Sons made a lot of knives for Craftsman. A lot of the knives sold that were marked Craftsman were actually made by Case. I'm not sure about that. Leave it down in the comments if you know anything more about that. But it's a really nice little knife. Now, I'm not going to go out and, you know, fillet a shark with this or anything like that, but it'd be perfect for mangrove snappers and, you know, grunts and whatever. You know, and there again, you kind of a little bird and trout type knife or whatever that you could find a lot of uses for. And it's a kitchen knife, you know. And I just made a nice little leather slip for it to go in. And then you can stick it in your pocket. It's got a nice snug fit. And stick it in your pack or in your pocket or whatever. And you've got a nice little cheap, inexpensive bushcraft knife. That was my main thing was, oh, I wanted to tell you. So I dyed this handle that green color just because it was way too blonde. It's a piece of maple, and it was just way too white, and I could have put some dark walnut on or something. But I used some of my homemade stain, and I thought I'd tell you how I make that. So you go to a place like Hobby Lobby that sells art supplies, any place that sells art supplies, even Walmart, I'm sure, and you can get these little tubes of oil colors in any color you want, pretty much, or you can mix the colors and make your own color or whatever. And then what I do is I just take old jars. Here's the green I used, and I fill my little container up with Thompson's water seal, and then I stick. So a jar this size, I'd probably use about half of this tube, a tube this size, which is 12 milliliters. I'd put about half of it in here and then just mix it up real good and then wipe it on just like you would stain. It'll soak in, it'll preserve the wood because of the Thompson's water seal. So this is dry to the touch now, but I just did it like a half an hour ago. But it'll take a couple of days to fully dry, you know, because it is an oil-based paint. But that's kind of just a neat little trick that I kind of came across. I never saw anybody else do it, but I was playing around one day with, I had a whole gallon of Thompson's water seal, or 2-gallon can or whatever it was. And I needed some colored stain that I didn't have on hand. And I had the paints already, so I just played around and it worked. I use it on bird houses and bird feeders and just all kinds of stuff, you know. Like I say, you can, you know, doing it this way, you don't have to buy a whole quart or a pint of, you know, some color that's close to what you want, but not quite exactly what you want. You can just make exactly the color stain you want. And then, you know, then you can put a poly finish on top of this if you wanted to, you know, after it's good and dry. Just make sure it's good and dry first, you know. So I want to share that little tip with you. Maybe it'll come in handy to one of you watching and all that. Yeah, so that's kind of a wrap on this video. I just wanted to share with you any budget-minded folks out there. If there's any budget-minded folks out there watching like me, you like to make things on the cheap, you know, go to a flea market and see if you can buy a box full of knives for 40 bucks and go to town playing around and fixing them up and converting them, you know. Just, you know, wrap the handles, make a new handle, make a little sheath for it, or make another you know, a sheath for it, and there you have it. Yeah, that came out good. I'm just disappointed about the copper, you know, that I can't get the patina on it like I want. Oh well. Anyway, oh, I think you got a little something on your eyeball there. There we go. All right. Anyway, everybody, I appreciate you watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to all my subscribers, and if you're not subscribed, consider it. I really appreciate it. Like, share, all that good stuff. You know the drill. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments. I love hearing from y'all. This is Dave. See you in the next one.